Let me see if we're connected. No, we're totally not connected there. Trying that. Yeah. All right, so hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about your emotions and how they can feel locked away when you're acting, and how to set them free. And so it might look like, when you're auditioning, taping, especially when you're auditioning and taping, it might feel like you don't really have access to all the emotions that are there. So you might be very passionate about a role, about a character, about a project. You might prep and rehearse. And then when it's time to audition or to tape, you might kind of feel a little bit choked, or like all the things that you're intuiting about the character, feeling about the character, are actually not coming out. So they're not able to transmit what you have in your heart, what you had as an intention to for a way to defend the character. And you might have felt that even when you're acting, when you're on set. You might feel like you're so ready, so passionate, so devoted to your character, and yet you hear action and something like literally feels like it's constricting your emotional instrument, or like you really have to push inside of your performance to get to somewhat of an emotion. It's not free flowing. You don't feel like a free flowing fountain of life that is really going from one emotion to another in subtle moments, in truthful moments. It feels more like it's dry and you have to push or knock or hammer or fabricate or produce, and therefore it doesn't feel fun, right? So you might also feel that in your actual life, actually, where emotions are too present and they prevent you from connecting with people. Or emotions, in the same way as when you're auditioning, are not really free. So let's say you meet a casting director, or you meet an agent, or you meet a director or producer. You might feel that same thing, that you're unable to just sit there and truly be present with everything that you are and actually connect with the person who's in front of you, and communicate together and listen to each other and receive what they're saying without thinking about what you're saying, and really, really be engaged and connected to each other, present to each other's truth in the moment. And I think that a lot of people are suffering from that, especially if you're a very passionate artist, whether you're an actor, singer, or dancer. It doesn't matter which art you're involved in, that you're very passionate about your creation. But then when it's the moment to enter the creation process, to tape, to audition, to act, to sing, to dance, to write, to paint, you're feeling that your emotional instrument is not there with you. Like you still want to do your creation, your art, and your emotions are not available. They're not reliable. They're not there. You can't be fully, truly emotional as only you are. And so that's very problematic and painful, of course, because if you are passionate about the art you put out there and you want to be fully experiencing your life and fully expressing it, if like the fuel of your being, if the gas, the emotions are somewhat stuck, feel locked inside, and you have them in moments where you're alone, it's very frustrating to be that passionate and then to not be able to show up for that passion. I have so many actors who move in with that problem in our community, but I remember specifically a young actress who was in her 20s and who was saying that she remembered being so free, so close to and one with her emotional instrument. And then she went to acting school and did so many workshops, and now she felt so distant and really like unable to connect with her emotional self after so much learning. And so that's usually what we do, right? When something is not working, you're auditioning, you're meeting people in the industry, and you're feeling, oh, I'm not myself, I'm all feeling all stuck and locked and blocked inside. I'm going to look outside. I'm going to take another acting class. I'm going to look at other actors, how they do it. I'm going to go on social media and listen to celebrity actors and how they do it. And they can teach me because they figured it out. Or I can find a new acting teacher or a new acting school. Or if you're involved in a different art form, you can find a new teacher, a new coach, and they can show you how to do it. And usually that doesn't work either, because the root of the problem of you being disconnected and your emotions being locked away from you when you need them is really the reason why is because you were born completely free as a little being, as a little creature. And then you got conditioned and programmed into fitting, into being validated, into pleasing, into doing things right, being a good person. And if you didn't, you would be punished and humiliated and hurt. So you really trained really well for decades to be, to think, to behave, and to feel like you were told and not like you were intuiting. And therefore, the reason why you don't have access to your emotional instrument, the reason why your emotions are locked away, is because they were abandoned in childhood. For the purpose of staying safe, of coping with what your caregivers, your educators demanded and expected of you, you left your true emotional self way back. And so that's why the work we do in our community is never to teach you anything, never to show you how it's done, but it's really only to hold your hand and to help you remember. And it's like, remember, put the members back inside of you. So your emotional instrument, which is the beauty and the glory and the genius of who you are, unique human being, we enable you, we remind you, we guide you back into that space. And in order to go back to that space and to reconnect with the truth of who you are, you first have to dismantle all the learned behaviors, all the coping mechanisms, all the defense mechanisms that made you think that it was safe to be this way, with a mask, with a shield, with an armor, in order to not get hurt, in order to fit, in order to be acknowledged, validated, loved, accepted. So we work through that shield, through that armor, through the mask, and then we go into your being together and we just reawaken that instinct, that free self, that core you that you were born with, your DNA, your essence, your nectar, so that you can then show up as a whole human being, where your emotions are not a different part of you. They just are you. And so they are present because there's nothing else that can happen. And the way we recently changed the way we do work with actors, we let you taste this work. So we don't go through funnels, webinars, fake free things that you can bite into and then we sell you the full program. We don't do any of that anymore. So we really have created a sheltered community away from that noise, away from all the offers that are promising the magic trick to change you, in order for you to really have the silence and the space to go back inside. We work under the gift economy model of business. So that means that you can contribute with what works for you in terms of how you want to honor your commitment to our community and how you want to honor the level of finances that you have. So you can taste this work for 5 days at the level that works for you. See if it starts to make sense to drop into your truth and into your freedom. And from there, if it makes sense, you have another option to say, yes, I want to do this work. And here is the level that I can commit to and that I'm able to. And that's how we work with actors now. So it's really a shelter away from the noise, away from the offers, away from the magic tricks and the bells and whistles out there that promise that you will feel better or you will have this and that by buying this or that tool out there, when all that really matters as an artist is to really reclaim and recuperate who you are, moving through the resistance, moving through the masks, the shield, the shelter, the armor, in order to recover yourself, reset yourself. So this work is called the Reset Journey from Resistance to Freedom. You can taste it for 5 days. If you write taster in the comments, we'll be able to send you a link so that you can give it a try and see for yourself if it works, and see for yourself if it's starting to bring back who you were born as and what you were meant to do. So I hope this makes sense. Again, if it does, you can write taster in the comments and we can send you a link, and you pay what you can in order to participate. All right. Thank you guys. Lovely to connect with you today. Bye-bye.